Most healthy adult cats have 2 eyes, but KATSEYE has 12. Funny enough how millions of eyes are watching them constantly, but I don't think it's going to be for that long. Let me explain.
The Big Dipper.
There's something boiling under the surface and I don't know how to feel about this latest first global girl group, KATSEYE. See, I never really got into the whole hype of K-pop back in the day, like 10 years ago. I used to listen to Big Bang, I was pulled in by the bright hair and the zany music videos. I didn't even know what genre it was. But then I fell out with K-pop, but recently KATSEYE has caught my attention. Before someone types an essay in the comments, I know they are not K-pop, but they are associated with the genre since their management is infamous for cultivating huge K-pop groups. I first discovered them because I was on Pinterest and I saw this bad bitch and I was like, who is that? And then later on I saw this campaign for Gap and the denim jeans. I saw her again and I was like, whoa, that's the same person from Pinterest, and I found out she's a member of this group. Anyways, fast forward, so me being curious like a cat, see what I did there? KATSEYE, that was a bad pun. Unlike a cat, it didn't land. Okay, enough with the cat references. Anyways, like I was saying, I ended up listening to their music and I must say I'm a fan. I didn't want to admit it at first because I was like, nah, I don't see the hype, but then now I can't go a day without singing Gnarly, and how can I forget Hands Off Gabriella, Now it's stuck in my head. I can't sing, I'm sorry for violating your eardrums, but anyways, I'm getting off track. I really think that KATSEYE has a lot of potential because the whole group at its core is shrouded in novelty. This is a pop group that sings in English but has the characteristics of a K-pop group. That's intriguing. K-pop is just Asians, as in we see South Koreans being the de facto members, hence the name Korean pop. That's normal, right? But now they're trying to be innovative and do something that's never been done before. That's where the novelty factor comes from. But I'm seeing stories, rumors if you will, and I'm hearing through the grapevine that not everything is what it seems. As they say, not everything that glitters is gold. Some people who were on the Dream Academy show have put out complaints saying that they were worked too hard, tricked, and that they lost their chance for no good reason. The show was presented as a straightforward competition where the best singers and dancers would win, but it seems the company making the group, HYBE, already had a specific idea of who they wanted from the get-go. This meant that some very talented contestants were let go, not because they weren't good, but because they didn't fit the exact image the company was building. I believe this to a certain extent because one of the employees that was in charge of recruiting and scouting people was on social media and ended up finding Manon. She said she caught her interest because she could sense the star power. So take that as you wish. The main problem is that the contestants thought they were in a fair competition, but now they believe the final members were somewhat chosen ahead of time. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, these guys before they debuted as a group, they were on this Netflix show that was basically a competition to see who's got the chops and who's got the star power to be a part of this group that ended up becoming KATSEYE. I'm sure you know this story since you're watching this video. Basically it's like American Idol, but it was specifically for this global girl group we've come to know as KATSEYE. So I don't know how to feel. Also part of me is kind of wondering how long can these guys last. For example, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that over a decade ago I used to listen to Big Bang, but as we all know, Big Bang kind of had to go through some trials and tribulations, and then some members just basically disbanded. Bonds weren't as strong anymore, people wanted to be solo, etc, etc. Long story short, most South Korean men, if not all of them, have to serve military time. So that happened with some of the members, and then also there was a controversy with 2 of the members I believe because they were caught with some weed. Having MJ on you in South Korea is a huge thing apparently. One of the members was being ostracized so badly the nation was treating this dude like he stabbed the baby to death. One of the members happens to be Thanos from season 2 of Squid Game, I know right? But yeah, that's not necessarily the same case when it comes to KATSEYE because these are mostly American girls. I'm just giving reference to a scenario that shook up another group. I think there's 3 American members, but either way the whole military scenario doesn't apply because they are women. But I'm just curious to see how long they can last, because as we all know with groups, one person always ends up getting more media attention than the rest. I'm talking about you, Fifth Harmony. I'm thinking of this little petite Latina lady. All the other girls pretty much got sidelined. What happened to Normani? What happened to the others? I don't even know their names, but she ended up becoming the star. And from what I watched from the Dream Academy show on Netflix, it seems like Manon is the star. I know Sophia is the leader and all, but sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Everybody really gravitates to Manon and Lara. The other members not so much. I'm not saying they don't have fans. I'm not saying they don't have stans. Don't get my words misconstrued. I can already sense Megan and Danny's fans coming for me. All I'm saying is that it's clear, everybody knows it. Those two are carrying the group in a way, right? Perhaps that's up for debate. Like even when it comes to social media following, I think Manon has the most followers for now. That's not really a factor that defines anything, but as we all know, there's going to be rivalry potentially amongst the members. Plus these guys are young. I hope it doesn't turn into a cat fight behind the scenes. Cat fight. KATSEYE. Cats, okay, I'll stop. I know I said I'll stop, I just couldn't resist. Even in the show on Netflix, there were already people being like, oh, Manon doesn't take this stuff as seriously as us. She just comes for practice when she feels like. She doesn't put her heart into it like us. We deserve to be the stars. But she still ends up getting more attention from the masses. Since that was already a case in the show, I can only imagine how it's going to be when their career goes forward and excels. Plus now there won't be a camera in their face, so I'm sure fights behind closed doors will be more vicious and not censored for Netflix. I love the diversity. Media representation is important. I used to find it corny and too formulaic and inauthentically manufactured, but the older I get, the more I respect it. For example, it's interesting just seeing Lara wear her bindi and talking about being queer. That's something you don't see too often. I like the songs. I love Mean Girls, I love Gnarly, I love Game Boy, but I'm just curious to see how all of this is going to unravel in the next few years. Also, something that I've been thinking about for quite some time is what's going to happen to these guys when there starts to be a bunch of clones. I know even if there are clones, they will never be as good as the original, but what I mean is that what happens when labels in South Korea start to replicate this formula? Trust me, there's management in labels right now observing the trajectory of KATSEYE, and if this works and they become pioneers in this space, there's gonna be clones right around the corner, and they're gonna have these global girl groups of pop stars being managed by South Korean labels. It's imminent at this point if this becomes a success. Also, another point to add, the law of these members is crazy, specifically Lara. I think by now you guys can tell that I have a bias towards Lara Raj. I don't know, there's just something interesting about her. The rabbit hole is pretty deep. Anyways, after watching some of their music videos and listening to their music, YouTube recommended to me her YouTube channel that she's been posting on ever since she was like 9 or 10. It's just crazy to see that she's been grinding for all these years and now she's global. She was singing in different states, different cities, entering competitions, trying to be a superstar, trying to be a pop star, and it finally paid off. I even saw she did a commercial/campaign with Michelle Obama. The law is crazy. Anyways, back to HYBE. HYBE is the company behind the global sensation BTS. From a small struggling office, it has grown into one of the most powerful forces in the music world. But is HYBE a good company that helps artists, or is it a sketchy corporation that only cares about money? The truth is, it is a bit of both. By looking at its success and its controversies, we can see the two very different sides of HYBE. There are many reasons why HYBE is seen as a positive and successful company. First, HYBE is brilliant at finding and supporting artists. They famously gave BTS the freedom to write and produce music about their own feelings and social issues, which helped fans connect with them deeply. This strategy of trusting artists has continued. The lead of the group 17 is also allowed to write and produce their songs. This creative freedom is a big reason why their groups feel so genuine and loved. Secondly, HYBE creates global superstars. They don't just focus on Korea, they use smart marketing, social media, and partnerships with international companies to make their groups famous worldwide. They have successfully launched multiple groups like ENHYPEN and Island, showing they can create fame again and again. However, this might be a problem. When you've basically become a conveyor belt for creating superstars, it makes one wonder how much of it is genuine support versus business, because as we all know, the music industry can exploit artists, especially young signees. However, there are also many reasons why people view HYBE as a sketchy or problematic company. A major issue is the fear that HYBE is becoming a monopoly. Because HYBE is so big and has bought so many other companies, people worry they are taking over the industry. This could make it hard for small independent companies to survive. If one company has too much power, it can control the market in a way that isn't healthy for competition or for artistic diversity. Another big problem is the treatment of fans and high prices. HYBE is known for selling expensive merchandise and many different versions of the same album. Some fans feel this is a greedy way to squeeze money out of them. There have also been conflicts between HYBE and the fan-made fan clubs, where fans felt HYBE was trying to take control and profit more from the fan community. This makes some people see HYBE as more focused on money than on the fan experience. In conclusion, HYBE is a company with two sides. On one hand, it is a creative and innovative force that has given the world amazing artists and changed how K-pop is marketed globally. They have proven they can support artistic vision and build incredible success stories. So is HYBE good or sketchy? The answer is not simple. It is a powerful engine that creates beautiful art and global stars, but it is also a large corporation that faces serious questions about its power, its intentions, and its internal stability. For fans of K-pop and music in general, HYBE is both a dream factory and a cause for concern. Hopefully, HYBE won't just cast KATSEYE's original roster to the side if things go haywire. That's like when an actor falls out with the producers, then you see a whole new face in the next season. I recently saw Halsey talk about how she was essentially shelved because she didn't sell enough records. I hope the KATSEYE crew doesn't end up meeting the same fate.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, consider watching one of the two on your screen right now. And don't forget, villains tell the best stories.